Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Design After Dark. We are starting a new floor plan here, which I already kind of took off a little bit and got started, but we have a foundation in a basic shape that I want to create here. But this is going to be a mountain modern timber frame home. So, what I'm going to start with, like I said, we already have our foundation set, and we'll probably adjust things a little bit, but I'm going to go to the main level and start on. We're going to use SIP panels for the most part for this plan. So we're going to go to our wall type and we will save that later. And we'll search for SIPs. And typically we're going to use a 8.5-inch exterior wall. And we'll just kind of go ahead and create our shell. And then I'm just going to adjust these walls to match. I want to make sure they were running the right direction first. And I'm actually going to select them all real quick and make sure they all go from the first floor plan to the roof. Now, because of this shape, this is going to be a single story, so we'll have some additional things where they'll go. Yeah, they're unconnected right now. We'll have them connect to a roof eventually, but right now we're going to set them to go to roof. And base offset is going to be 3/4 because the finished floor we figure 3/4 inch for. And these ones are flipped the opposite way of how we want them. Okay. All right, that looks good there. Now the garage typically is going to be a SIP wall, so we're going to use a garage wall. And I have one set up. We'll just type garage and exterior. And draw our basic shape. And we'll line these up. Okay, now we want to make sure all of these exterior walls are going to be structural walls. So we're going to select them all. And their phase is going to be superstructure. Now if we go to our 3D view, we'll see our basic shell here. And I'm going to take our foundation walls. And we're going to change these. I had them right up to the floor. That way I could tell where to place these walls. But we're going to change them to top of foundation wall. Unjoin. So it's going to look like there's a gap for a moment. Nope, that was the wrong one. We want top constraint. That's how it should look. Now for our garage, it's actually going to go a little proud of the finish grade. So it's going to be 8 inches. And our height is going to be 4 foot. For now, it could vary, not 4 inches. And that is not showing up the way it's supposed to. There we go. And that still is not right. I'm going to have to do some adjusting there. I'll have to probably look at that off camera, but this wall should go right here. We can just do that for right now and change the setting later. All right, there we go. There's the basic shell of our house. So actually, we're going to go back to the foundation plan. And we're going to take this wall through. Perfect. That's what we're looking for. So the next thing I'll do is create the floors for each of these. So we'll go to the lower level and we'll use floor and concrete slab, and we can just pick our points. And we'll square this off. And here is our concrete floor. So we'll go to our section, make sure, and yes, it's too low. We want it to be right here. And our foundation walls are actually too low. They should be set to foundation plan. So let's check all of them real quick. Okay, that'll look a little better in section. And then we'll go back to our main level and create our basic floor here. And what I'm going to do is use the floor command again. And I'm going to search subfloor. And I'm going to use a pick line. I'm going to offset everything 1 3/4 so we have a board around the outside edge. Or actually, no, this will go over top of that board, so we can go right to the outside face. And we're going to make sure the height is a negative 3/4. Not sure why it was showing as 6. Okay, we go back to our section. So it should be slightly below the level because we would put our finished floor here, and our finished floor will be the level itself. So now let's go to our garage, and we'll create our concrete floor in there. And we'll use a 4-inch concrete slab again, and it's a rectangle. Not quite, actually. We do have this little bump back here. Okay, and we're going to square that off. Oh, it's missing something. Aha, right here. And this should be 0. And done. I'm not sure why that looks like subfloor, because it is. I guess we didn't click concrete floor. Okay, there we go. And there's that setup. So now we can go and throw a footer around the building. And that might be about all we have time for this episode. And we just select each of our walls. All right, there we are. There's the basic shell of our building. So in the next episode, we'll come back and kind of set some roof planes, and we're going to build the timber frame inside of it once we kind of have the roof plane set, so we know our different heights and what we're trying to, yeah, kind of the basic shell we want to give the building and the shape. So yeah, we'll do that in the next episode. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time.